Namaste everyone, welcome to this practice for stabilising the pelvis and hip joints. We're going to come and stand now and take our feet about hip width apart. So if you look down at your toes, they're pointing straight ahead. Have a chair beside you to help you balance, because we are going to be lifting one leg off the floor. So most of us when we're walking, we can lift the hip and then the leg. Of course we don't need to lift the hip and hike it up. And I'm exaggerating the movement, but I see many clients that walk like this. So we want to have the hips nice and stable as we move. So this is just going to create that awareness of stability through the hip joints and the pelvis and help those muscles to strengthen. So you're standing with your feet hip width apart, draw your navel in, roll your shoulders back and down. Take your left hand or your right hand, it doesn't matter which side you're starting on, hold onto the chair. Place your other hand onto your hip. Now if you've got your balance, you can bring both hands to the hip joint. If that doesn't feel comfortable, then take that left hand back to the chair or the right hand. Now feel into the hip joint bones. So locate the hip bones, place your hands onto those bones. Now cast your gaze down to the floor, take up a focal point. It really helps with the balance if you're staring at some point on the floor or looking at some point on the wall straight ahead. We're going to just shift the body weight into your left foot, pick up that right foot and bend the knee. You can lift it up in front of you. If you've lifted your hip, as I have now, then we don't want that to happen. We want that hip to stay down. So let's try that again. So if you're holding onto the chair, you've got one hand on the chair, your feet are hip width apart, just check them out, make sure they're in the right place. Feel into the hips, notice where they are. They're pointing straight ahead and they're parallel to one another. Place your left hand onto the chair, all right. And now we're going to take the body weight into one leg that you're going to balance on. Lift that opposite leg off the floor without lifting the hip. Now when you feel that you've got that stability, bend the leg of the knee that you're balancing on. So you're just strengthening, you're keeping the hip joints exactly where they are. Again, if you've got your balance, you'd like to challenge your brain, you can take one hand out to the side and come into Yan Mudra, bring the thumb and index finger together, and then maybe the other hand. If you'd like to challenge your balance a little bit further, keep the pelvis where it is, bring that right foot forward. And if you wobble, that's all good. And then gently bring that leg back and relax that foot down to the floor. Straighten both knees now. Try and keep the pelvis where it is. Excellent. Excellent for strengthening the mental pathways through the body. So we'll do that again on the other side. So I'm going to take my chair, and I hope you do too, to the other side. Check out your feet. Make sure they're hip width apart. Take hold of the chair, place the other hand onto the hip, or place both hands onto the hips. Locate the pelvis, locate the hip joints. Now we're going to create that stability by trying to keep the hips where they are. Shift the body weight into your right foot. Bend your left knee. Just lift your left foot off the floor. And you're gazing at some point on the floor or straight ahead. Now when you've got that stability through the pelvis, take a breath in, and you exhale, bend your right knee. And just balance here for a couple of deep breaths without moving the hip joints. Excellent. If you'd like to challenge your balance, you can take one hand out to the side, bring the thumb and index finger together. Possibly the other hand as well. If that's not for you, then just bring that hand back. And I'm going to challenge the balance a little bit more, very, very slowly. Bring the left foot forward. Feel that stability in the hips. They're not moving. And then gently bring that left foot back to the floor. Relax the left hand down. Breathe in, straighten both legs. Wonderful. Now take your feet a little bit apart. We're going to move the hip joints now very gently. So bend both knees. I'm going to hula hoop. So take your hips around a little circle in one direction. You'll feel the hip joints, the muscles connected into that from the thighs, the lower back, all getting a very nice gentle stretch. And then pause, and whenever you're ready, go in the opposite direction. Again, of course, you can always hold onto the chair if that feels better. Wonderful. And then come back to the center. This is quite a nice addition to looking after strengthening the pelvic floor, as well as my other video, hip joint mobility. Namaste everyone, and thanks so much for your practice today.